next level and come up with ingenious ways to go to the next level, right? So it's a very crucial function right now for us to go to the next level. The recruiting leads and the account leads are very crucial functions which we are still trying to figure out. It's not clear whether we will be successful because many companies don't even have this concept of recruiting leads and account leads. Chris has worked in many companies, Abhi has worked in many companies. You guys know that there are all kinds of organizational structures. It doesn't matter what is the structure, I feel, as long as it is thought out and implemented in a very, very strong manner. It's all lies in the implementation, right? So that's the vision we have, that with this we will have a scalable team. And now we need to, are we producing at desired levels? Right now we are not producing at desired levels, right? The numbers are slowly inching up, I would say. From January, I would say from maybe middle of last year or even beginning of last year till beginning of this year, the numbers were going down for whatever reason. And it is natural sometimes. Sometimes when you try to figure out what is happening, you slow down. As an example, some of you might have taken a year break from college because you're still trying to figure out, hey, do I want to do something? So when you try to figure things out, you tend to slow down and you experiment with a lot of different mechanisms to make the organization grow. I think finally we have stabilized a little bit. I can see that at least from June, July, the numbers are now looking up and they are going up. Every month, the numbers are going up, and I'm confident by end of this year, we will figure out what is the model that's going to work so that we will be hugely successful both in the US and in India. My vision is that each recruiter in the company will get 2 to 3 closures a month. How many of you think it is possible? 2 to 3 closures a month, consistently. There are a bunch of you who think it is possible. How about India team? You guys get many, many closures, don't you? Well, let me tell you, if we get 1 closure a month, right? If we get 1 closure a month, we can barely sustain a company if we can get 1 closure a month. If right now we are at maybe 0.7 or 0.8 or even sometimes 0.5 closures per recruiter per month. There are reasons for it. The reasons are many of you are new to the game, right? And I was very happy to meet all the youngsters who have joined for the first time. They are starting out, embarking on this career. We are trying to train a bunch of you to become the recruiters of tomorrow. Some of you have experience, so the experience level of people matters. The fact that you are removed from US matters. How good are our clients and how erratic is our client behavior. Everything matters in whether we are going to be successful or not. But we can only worry about what is in our control, right? What is in our control? If we do 1 closure a month, right, consistently, then we are likely to do better than what we are doing now in terms of what you see in terms of your compensation, your work environment, your opportunities. All that is going to get much better if we consistently get 1 closure a month. We are hanging a target of $8 in gross margin per recruiter per month. It is, in my mind, a minimum expectation. When I started the company and the first few years of the company, when Kannan, Vidya, Meera, and Pradi and all were helping me grow the company, if we set targets of $8 a month, we would never have come to the level we are here right now. We used to get multiple closes, minimum $20, $30 a month. That's when we find the money to grow the company. If not, we find the money only to survive and sustain, but we cannot grow the company. We cannot have opportunities to grow. So at 2 closures per recruiter per month, just imagine the possibility of where we can go in terms of compensation, in terms of organization growth. So that's something that we need to figure out. So I wanted to share my thoughts on what should be in place for us to go to 2 to 3 closures a month. And let me tell you, for some of you who doubt whether it's possible or not, in the last few months, few people have gotten 4 or 5 closures a month. You may be aware of those people. Especially, there was an outlier. There was a recruiter in Chennai. His name is Manoj Chetia. He left. Last month, he got 4 closures. Previous month, he got 5 closures. Okay? Can you guess how many years of experience he has in recruiting? He has totally 4 months of experience. He joined us as a fresher, right? First month, nothing. Second month, nothing. Third month, 5 closures. Fourth month, 4 closures. It doesn't happen just by his own efforts. It does happen because a lot of factors are falling in place, right? Yes, he probably got some good clients. He got good leaders mentoring him, right? His success is because he had good leaders mentoring him, because he doesn't know what is recruiting, right? So the leadership is very, very, very important. There are talented people among you, and you need good leaders to take you to the next level. So that's the possibility, guys. That's the possibility. If you put your hearts to it, yes, consistently, can we do it? I myself don't believe that's possible. Though I used to do 3 or 4 closes a month constantly. And if you ask Chris, I'm sure Chris is not going to say he did 0.5 closes a month. Individually, that capability was there, due to which the company grew, right? And it is possible. So you guys need to figure out. So let me share my thoughts on what needs to be in place, right? How are we going to accomplish it? So what salespeople need to do, what recruiting people need to do, right? Salespeople, they need to have a solid grip on the client, right? They need to have a solid grip on the client. They shouldn't be just tooling around and working hard and submitting resumes and struggling to get closures. Client is not giving traction. How are they going to get a solid grip on the client, right? I had a solid grip on the client when I was servicing a client, okay? I wasn't wasting my time. Now, how many salespeople are there in the company? In ITTC alone, probably 5 or 6 or 7 salespeople are there, right? All the account leads and delivery heads. There are a lot of salespeople, marketing heads. They're all salespeople. You need to have a solid grip on the client, right? Deep understanding of client accounts. I always go by the concept of deep versus shallow, right? So when you think deep, then you need to think, hey, in whatever I do, I need to be deep rather than shallow. Examples could be that you submit 10 resumes for 10 different positions, or versus you submit 10 resumes for only 2 or 3 positions. Then you're digging deeper on a particular position. You're submitting more and more resumes. When you dig deeper on a particular job, you're understanding the requirement, you know what questions to ask, you know how to weed out the bad candidates, you have your own hot list, you understand the client, you understand the nature of business of the client. The sales guys and recruiting are working hand in glove with a deep understanding of the client and deep servicing of the client. Probably one example can be right here, Sangaben, where Nazia and Gokul and team have 55 people working in one client. That is deep. If they service 20 clients with 6 recruiters, right, then they'll be spreading themselves too thin. They can't really understand what it takes to go deep and service the client. It's an example. We have serviced some clients deeply. That's why we grew. On Capgemini Visteon account, we placed 52 people. In TCS Verizon account, probably we placed 30 to 40 people. Right? It was not 1, 2, it was like multiple. So we went deep. So as recruiters, as salespeople, when we think about digging deep, right, we do things very differently. Okay, that's very important. I feel subject matter experts are essential for us to dig deep. None of us are technologists. Yeah, some of you might have some exposure to technology, especially a lot of the new people seem to have computer science degrees, and so they are not averse to technology. But in general, we are salespeople. Even if you're a recruiter, you're a salesperson. because ultimately you are generating a margin, right? So as a salesperson, you have a lot of things to figure out. And a salesperson does not sell without a deep understanding of the game, right? There is a game that's being played. And the essential ingredient to it is getting some subject matter expertise. So everybody needs to be comfortable with IT terminologies. You should be comfortable to read and learn a little bit. We cannot obviously become programmers ourselves, but more deeply you concentrate at least 2 or 3 technologies, you can become damn good in understanding the technology and asking the questions. It's just like a car salesman needs to know his car, right? If you ask him what's the power of the engine, if he doesn't know, he needs to know that at least. And for us, that equates to knowing, going one step into technology, which requires subject matter experts like some Java developers or some architects or some engineers to help us go to the next level. The subject matter expert will help the sales guy talk intelligently to the client. Subject matter expert can help you understand requirements, can do tech check, and all that is going to help us take us to the next level. I feel one essential ingredient to our success is to have subject matter experts who are going to help all of us go to the next level. So that's one. So salespeople, especially, they need to be talking to a lot of subject matter experts. That will help them talk much, much better to the client. That will help them not waste time on useless requirements. That will help them definitely get a lot more traction with client accounts. So how do salespeople get a solid grip on the account? Is by picking a few accounts, digging deep. You can't dig deep on 25 accounts, but if you pick 2 or 3 accounts, right, you can definitely dig deep. And if each salesperson or if each group is digging deep on 1 or 2 accounts, there will be a bunch of accounts in which we are digging deep, meaning we are understanding the client, we are understanding everybody, we know everybody, and we are doing a much better job of tech check, everything. So salespeople have to think what to do, and it's also important to think what not to do. It's important not to do. Hey, when you think dig deep, or when you think that, you should say, hey, I don't want to do that. Hey, I know there are many other things I can do, but there are some things you should not do if you're digging deep, right? There are all kinds of opportunities. There are 1,000 positions out there. There are hundreds of clients out there. It's important also to say, hey, these are the things we are not going to do because we are digging deep, right? So salespeople can work on client meetings, technical understanding, building rapport, making deals, doing some proactive recruiting, measuring the turnaround time, getting better margin. The margin has a very big impact on our profitability. We said, we want monthly 2 closures. 2 closures is $16. If we get $16 in one placement, our job is done, right? That is a smarter way of working also. So that's what salespeople have to do. They need to dig deep. What do recruiting people have to do, right? The first thing is we should be sure that we are submitting a great resume, right? That we should be sure. If we are not sure about that, then there is no hope. We should be sure that the resume that we are submitting will get us a closure. We are not here to do some clerical work and do some ABCD and pump some resumes and go home and sleep. That will not get us a closure. So we should be thinking, hey, have I done enough diligence? Am I sure this resume will get me a closure? Or am I submitting the resume just because my boss is saying I need to submit a resume, right? So how can you be sure? How can you be sure that you are submitting a great resume? What is the first thing, first topmost ingredient of submitting a great resume is technical understanding of the requirement. That is the first thing, and if you don't have technical understanding, it'll be difficult. I remember in my earlier days when I used to travel to India, there was one Indian recruiter working under Nazia, and I asked her, what do you specialize in? She said, I specialize in data warehousing. I said, what is data warehousing?